Someone just indexed 669 gigabytes of personal GoPro videos on a single MacBook with an M1 Max chip. Think about that number for a second. That's roughly 150 hours of continuous footage. All of it processed locally. No cloud upload. No sending data to someone else's data center. No subscription. The whole operation happened right there on consumer hardware that you can buy at an Apple store. What blows my mind is that most people don't even realize this is possible yet. For years, if you wanted to search through a massive video library, you had exactly two options: hire a team of professional editors or upload everything to Google, Amazon, or some other cloud service and hope their servers figured it out for you. But what happened here completely changes the equation. The person who did this used open-source machine learning models that are freely available to anyone. These models ran on consumer hardware, no specialized tech background, no expensive GPUs, just a good MacBook and some free software. What they've essentially proven is that the era of cloud-dependent AI is ending. Your own machine is becoming powerful enough to do genuinely intelligent work. The kind of work that used to cost thousands of dollars and weeks of waiting. And that's not just a cool technical flex. It has massive implications for privacy, for how creators work, and for how we'll interact with our own data going forward. To understand why this is such a big deal, you need to know what video indexing actually is and why it's been so frustrating. When you have 150 hours of footage, searching through it manually is basically impossible. You can't remember which file has that perfect sunset from 3 years ago, or that one moment your friend did something hilarious during a trip. So for decades, the solution was simple: use cloud services. Google Photos, Amazon Photos, and dozens of others would take your video, process it on their massive servers, and build an index of what's in every single frame. It sounds magical until you think about what it actually means. You're uploading all your personal footage to someone else's data center. You're trusting them not to study it, not to use it for training their own AI models, and not to sell insights about your life to advertisers. You're also waiting days or weeks for processing because the cloud servers are busy with millions of other users. And you're paying monthly subscriptions for the privilege of storing your own data somewhere you can't directly access. Even worse, if the cloud company changes their terms of service or goes out of business, your years of carefully organized videos could disappear overnight. This is the world creators have been trapped in. Filmmakers, travel vloggers, and documentary makers need to search through libraries quickly and keep everything private. They've been stuck between two terrible choices: pay cloud subscriptions and accept the privacy compromise, or accept that searching through footage will just be frustrating. Here's the thing that makes this story click: the hardware changed. The MacBook Pro with an M1 Max is not just a faster laptop. It's fundamentally different from what came before. The M1 Max has 10 CPU cores and 32 GPU cores all on a single chip. That GPU is not designed for playing video games. It's designed for machine learning work, exactly the kind of processing you need to index video. Apple's chip architecture basically brought GPU performance that used to require external graphics cards into the laptop itself. Meanwhile, the machine learning models themselves got better and smaller. Open-source projects like YOLO, Whisper, and various vision transformers hit a sweet spot where they are accurate enough for professional work, but lightweight enough to run on consumer hardware. So what happened is simple. The hardware finally got powerful enough, and the software finally got good enough at the same time. The person who indexed those 669 gigabytes did it using a combination of open-source computer vision models to identify objects, scenes, and faces in every frame, plus audio transcription models to understand what was being said. All of this runs at speeds that would have been impossible 5 years ago. On older MacBooks, this job would have taken weeks or months. On an M1 Max, it finishes in hours, and that speed difference is everything. It's the difference between something being a frustrating technical experiment and something that's actually practical for real people to use every single day. So what can you actually do once your video library is indexed? The magic is in the search. Imagine you're a travel filmmaker. You have years of drone footage, hiking clips, and interviews from dozens of countries. You want to find every single shot where the sun is setting over mountains. Instead of watching through 150 hours of footage, you type sunset mountains and the index instantly returns every matching clip. Or you're making a documentary about architecture and you need every interior shot of a modern office building. Search, done, in seconds. Or here's a real example, someone's kid appears in hundreds of hours of family video. You want to compile every moment into a highlight reel. Search for child playing or child laughing, and the system finds every frame. Another creator might want every clip where they are speaking directly to the camera for a blooper reel. Search for person talking to camera. The system understands context, not just keywords. It's recognizing faces, understanding scenes, identifying actions. This is the kind of thing that used to require hiring an editor for weeks. Now your own laptop does it instantly. There's also metadata. The system can tell you the length of each clip, when it was recorded, what the weather looked like, whether it's indoors or outdoors. It's building a complete searchable database of your visual content. And here's the kicker, all of this happens in the background. You're not waiting for cloud processing, you're not uploading anything. It's all happening on your laptop while you work on other things. When you compare doing this locally versus using cloud services, the differences become really stark. Cloud services are fast at the software level, but slow everywhere else. You wait to upload all that data if you have a 500 megabyte per second internet connection, which most people don't. Uploading 669 gigabytes would still take about 22 minutes. Most people have internet around 100 to 200 megabytes per second, which means you're looking at hours or even days just getting the files to the servers. Then you wait for the company's servers to process it, which can take weeks. Then you wait for the results to download back to you. The whole operation takes time measured in weeks. Local processing is different. You run it on your machine, it takes hours, you're done, you never upload anything, so there's no bandwidth bottleneck. The M1 Max's GPU does the work in parallel, processing multiple video frames simultaneously. The second huge difference is control and privacy. With cloud services, your data lives on someone else's servers. You're trusting them. Local processing means your data never leaves your laptop. It's just sitting in your hard drive the whole time. Nothing gets sent anywhere. That matters if you're working with sensitive footage, medical records, confidential business meetings, intimate family moments. The third difference is cost. Cloud subscriptions are recurring. You pay month after month. Local processing is a one-time investment in a laptop you're probably buying anyway. And then there's the emotional difference. When you work locally, it's your data, your machine, your results. Cloud changes all that. This matters way beyond just creators. What we are seeing is the beginning of a fundamental change in how AI is deployed. For the last 5 years, the entire conversation around AI has been about cloud companies, OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, training bigger and bigger models on bigger and bigger computers, and then letting regular people access them through the internet. That's useful, right? But it means your data goes to these companies. It means these companies have leverage over the tools you depend on. If they change their pricing, you have to accept it or stop using the tool. If they decide to shut something down, it goes away. Local AI flips this around. Instead of sending your data to the cloud, you run AI on your own hardware. Your data stays in your possession. The tool works even if you don't have internet. You're not dependent on any company's infrastructure or pricing decisions. For creators especially, this is transformative. Travel vloggers can index footage while on the road without paying for cloud storage. Documentary filmmakers can keep sensitive material completely private while still being able to search through it efficiently. Video editors can work faster because indexing happens locally instead of waiting for cloud servers. But the implications go even deeper. As these models get better and hardware gets faster, the kinds of work you can do locally will expand. This isn't the end state, this is just the beginning. In 5 years, the tools running locally on your laptop might be doing things that currently require specialized cloud GPUs. That change in computing power fundamentally changes who has leverage and who benefits from AI. Right now, that's a fascinating place to be. If you're thinking about indexing your own video library, the process isn't magic, but it's easier than you'd expect. The person who did this started with open-source computer vision models. The most popular ones are YOLO for object detection. That's how the system recognizes things like person, dog, car, beach. There's also models for face recognition scene classification, and optical flow analysis. For audio, they probably used Whisper, which is OpenAI's open-source transcription model that's genuinely excellent. The workflow is basically this: you point the system at your video library. It starts processing each video frame by frame. For every frame, the models run inference, fancy term for making a prediction. They look at the pixels and say, this frame contains these objects, these faces, this action. The results get stored in a searchable database. Then you build an interface on top. Could be a simple command line tool or a full web application that lets you query the database. Search for sunset, and it returns every clip containing sunsets. The technical barrier isn't really about complexity. It's about understanding what tools exist and how to connect them together. Python is the language most people use because machine learning libraries are all built for Python. If you're interested in trying this yourself, there are open-source projects like MediaPipe and Computer Vision Zoo that make getting started much less intimidating than it used to be. The hardware requirement is straightforward. You need a MacBook with at least 16 gigabytes of memory. An M1 Max is ideal, but even an M1 Pro works. The M2 and M3 Max are also excellent. The limiting factor isn't your hardware. It's how much video you have and how much time you want to spend. What happened here is significant because it's proof that a fundamental change is underway. We've spent years hearing about AI being something that lives in the cloud, something that's dependent on massive server farms and expensive subscriptions. But that story is ending. The next chapter is about AI running on your own hardware, under your own control, with your data staying in your possession. This person's project with 669 gigabytes of GoPro footage is a preview of what's coming. In the next couple of years, you're going to see more tools like this, local-first applications that do genuinely sophisticated AI work without phoning home. Your next MacBook or Windows laptop won't just be a device for consuming content. It'll be a tool for doing intelligent work on your own data. The implications are huge. Privacy becomes easier to protect. Work happens faster because you're not dependent on internet speed or cloud service uptime. The barrier to entry drops because you're not paying monthly subscription fees. As this change accelerates, the companies that thrive won't be the ones with the biggest data centers. They'll be the ones building the best tools that run locally. That's the story to watch. If you're interested in this world of local AI and personal machine learning, follow for daily breakdowns of what's changing in tech. We'll be covering more stories like this as the change from cloud-dependent to local-first AI keeps accelerating.